What if everything you hold dear suddenly collapsed? Your job, your relationships, your financial security gone in an instant. Would your mind remain unshaken? Or would it crumble under the weight of the storm? In a world where everything can change in the blink of an eye, how prepared are you to face the chaos? The ancient Stoics knew this uncertainty all too well. Their wisdom can guide you to a place where nothing, no loss, no setback can ever bring you down again. Imagine this. Everything around you falls apart. Your job disappears, your finances dry up, and even your most cherished relationships start to unravel. How would you react? Would you stand tall, your mind calm and unshaken? Or would you crumble with the weight of the world pressing down on you? This isn't a question for the easy days. This is the question of someone who has stared life in the face, who's seen the fragility of everything around them, and has asked, "Am I truly ready for what comes next?" We live in an uncertain world, where a single event, sometimes even something small, can completely shift the course of our lives. Here's the harsh truth. Most people tie their happiness to things that can vanish in a moment, whether it's their job, their wealth, or their relationships. When those things are shaken, so are they. Panic sets in, despair takes over, and the sense of direction vanishes. But over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosophers saw this coming. They understood that true peace doesn't come from what we own or the people we surround ourselves with. Peace comes from within, how we train our minds, how we learn to stand firm in the face of chaos, even when the world around us is in turmoil. It's about developing an inner strength, like a mountain that stands strong through the fiercest storm. This is the power that Stoicism offers to those who are willing to forge themselves into something unshakable. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 battle-tested Stoic principles that will help you strengthen your mind and build resilience until nothing in this world can bring you down. Principle number 1. Identify the two spheres of control. Imagine your mind as a battlefield, where every day feels like a fight. The first step to winning this battle, understanding what you can control and what you can't. This is the dichotomy of control, and it's like building your first defensive wall. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said that there are two categories of things: those completely within our control, like our thoughts, our choices, and our actions, and those completely beyond it, like the weather, other people's opinions, political unrest, and even fate itself. Without a clear distinction between these two spheres, we end up fighting battles we never had a chance of winning. How many times in your life have you found yourself stressed, angry, or anxious about things you simply cannot change? How many hours have you wasted, only to realize that your frustration was a battle fought in vain? It's like being a sailor in the middle of a storm. You can't stop the wind from howling, and you can't stop the waves from crashing, but you can adjust your sails, tighten your grip on the helm, and anchor your boat to ride out the storm. So, think about it. Is your startup facing delays in funding? Instead of sinking into frustration over what you can't control, the market, the investors, you can focus on what's within your grasp. Refine your product, nurture your customers, sharpen your skills. In a world full of chaos and uncertainty, Choosing to focus your energy on what you can control isn't just about surviving. It's about growing stronger. As Epictetus wisely said, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. This isn't just advice, it's a strategy for survival. Now that we've explored the power of identifying what's in your control, let's move on to the next principle. That will help you face life's challenges with an unshakable mindset. Stay tuned for what's coming next. Intro. Before we dive deeper into the Stoic principles, let's remind ourselves of something key from the previous part. Focusing on what you can control is the bedrock that keeps you steady amidst life's storms. Now, ask yourself this. Are you investing your energy into things you can change in your life? When you dedicate your mind entirely to what you can control, you become like a soldier training before battle, stronger, more precise, and, most importantly, less vulnerable to being overwhelmed by the unexpected. Practicing the dichotomy of control is not an act of surrender, but a wise, deliberate choice. It demands the clarity to know what deserves your time and energy in daily life. It starts with the smallest moments. When someone criticizes you unfairly, you can either get angry or choose to respond with calmness. When work disappoints you, you can wallow in complaints, or you can choose to focus on improving your skills today. A mind that has mastered the two spheres of control is like a sail perfectly set to face a strong wind. It cannot stop the storm from coming, but it can carry you through. And with each storm you weather, your inner strength builds, layer by layer, growing stronger and more steadfast. So, ask yourself right now, are you exhausting yourself by fighting what you can't change, or are you quietly preparing for what you can master? The answer will determine whether your mind becomes an impregnable fortress or a fragile sandcastle, waiting for the next wave to wash it away. Principle number 2. Amor fati, love your fate. Amor fati is not just a slogan. It's a mindset, a mental strategy that transforms everything that happens, whether sweet or bitter, into the building blocks of an unshakable inner fortress. We often find it easy to love what brings us success and joy, but Stoicism teaches us that loving our fate means embracing failure, loss, and pain as well. Amor fati doesn't ask you to fake happiness when everything falls apart. It asks you to accept reality as a skilled craftsman accepts a rough piece of wood, ready to transform it into a work of art. Imagine an athlete at the peak of their career, suddenly facing a serious injury. So how can these challenges help you grow? That's what we'll explore next. Let's continue this journey and uncover how you can apply Stoic principles in your everyday life to become stronger than ever. Recap from the last section. As we just explored, the idea of amor fati, or loving your fate, allows us to embrace life's ups and downs, seeing challenges as opportunities to grow stronger. Now, let's dive deeper into how this mindset can help us in tough situations, starting with how to build the mental strength to handle adversity. Most people would fall into despair, crushed by the weight of unexpected events. But someone who embodies amor fati sees these challenges with different eyes. Imagine a top athlete who, after suffering a serious injury, finds himself away from the competition. While others might see this as a setback, this athlete uses the time to refine technique, optimize nutrition, and strengthen their mind. When they return, they don't just regain their physical abilities, they elevate their spirit to a new level, stronger, more resilient, and far more self-aware. This is the power of amor fati. As Epictetus wisely said, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. This is the heart of amor fati, letting go of wishful expectations and anchoring yourself firmly in reality. It's about actively loving the natural flow of life, accepting that both good and bad have their purpose in shaping who we are. When you train your mind to truly love your fate, not just when the skies are clear, but even when storms are hidden beneath the horizon, you'll discover a strength within you that nothing outside can shake. You will no longer be like a small boat panicking in the open sea. Instead, you'll become the ocean itself, vast, deep, able to receive everything without losing who you are. But how do you reach this level of spiritual mastery? How do you train your mind to embrace adversity rather than resist it? Amor fati is the foundation, but there's another tool that Stoic philosophers used, one that's incredibly powerful: negative visualization. Have you ever asked yourself, what is the worst that could happen? Imagine you lose your phone, or your important data gets wiped out. How would you react? Panic, regret, anger. It's natural. We've grown accustomed to thinking these things are permanent, as if they could never be lost. But negative visualization isn't about sinking into anxiety. It's more like training to swim before you fall into water. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, our minds become familiar with them, preparing us for whatever life throws our way. It's like a warrior training in a storm, rather than only practicing under calm skies before you rush headfirst into the chaos of your day. Try this. Take a moment, close your eyes, and imagine that today you might drop your phone in a puddle. Perhaps you'll receive a layoff email or miss out on a big opportunity. Feel the disappointment rise, but instead of panicking, let reason soothe you. I knew this could happen. I'm prepared. In that very moment, you are teaching yourself an invaluable lesson. Nothing in life is guaranteed. And because of that, nothing deserves to completely control your peace of mind. If you practice negative visualization regularly, you'll begin to notice something remarkable. The things you once clung to, your shiny new laptop, the KPI numbers on your report, even the expectations of others will suddenly feel as light as dust in the wind. You'll start to appreciate each moment more. Your phone still works when you pick it up, and you feel grateful for every day you are healthy enough to go to work. This gratitude doesn't come from hollow reminders. It grows naturally from your ability to face the possibility of loss. Imagining the worst doesn't make you weak, it makes you prepared. A mind inoculated against chaos, just like a soldier who trains rigorously in peaceful times to be strong when war breaks out. You're strengthening your mind so it won't collapse when life throws you its unpredictable punches. So, tomorrow morning when you wake up, what will you do? Will you dive into the day thinking you're invincible? Or will you take just 1 minute to visualize, accept, and move forward with a mind that's just a little stronger? You have the choice. You can start today. And with each negative visualization, you'll learn to hold on to yourself with more resilience than ever before. Principle number 4. Turn obstacles into paths. What do you do when a door slams shut in your face? Do you curse your fate and collapse into self-pity? Or do you step back, take a deep breath, and look for another way forward? The Stoic philosophers have a powerful teaching on this one that we'll dive into in the next section. Are obstacles truly obstacles, or could they be the very path to your growth? Stay tuned as we explore how challenges can actually open new doors in life. Recap from the previous section. We've just explored how obstacles can be transformed into opportunities for growth. Now, let's dive deeper into the idea of actively embracing challenges, not just when they come your way, but by seeking them out intentionally to strengthen your mind and resilience. For many business owners, the pandemic signaled an end, a time when everything they worked for seemed to crumble in an instant. But for one particularly bold owner, it marked the beginning of something new. Instead of sitting back and waiting for the storm to pass, he took action. He pivoted. He launched an online barista training course, turning a closed cafe into a thriving digital business. In a time when all the traditional paths were blocked, he created a new one. The small cafe, once limited by the number of customers it could serve at any given time, now reached hundreds, even thousands, through each video and online class. His revenue soared beyond anything he could have imagined, and his influence grew exponentially. This is the power of seeing obstacles differently. They are not your enemies. In fact, they are like a tough coach at the gym, always handing you harder challenges that push you to grow stronger. Think about it. If you only lift weights that feel easy, your muscles will never develop. Similarly, if life only ever hands you smooth sailing, your mind remains fragile, like silk left in the sun. To turn obstacles into the way, you need a shift in perspective. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How is this situation shaping me to grow?" Rather than avoiding adversity, step into it and mine it for all it's worth, like raw material that can be transformed. Every failure holds a lesson. Every setback contains a hidden strength waiting to be awakened. And you'll soon realize that storms, which seem to wreck your life, may actually be the very winds that push your sails farther than you ever thought possible. Every barrier you face is a hidden opportunity, one that only those patient and resilient enough can uncover. Now, the real question for you is, when you face failure, will you see it as the end of the road, or will you choose to see it as the beginning of something new? Let every stumble be a step forward, a stronger, more determined step toward your growth. If you've ever turned an obstacle into a turning point in your life, share your story in the comments below. Your experience might just inspire someone who's struggling right now. And who knows, by sharing your journey, you might open a new path for yourself as well. Principle number 5. Voluntary difficulties. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, known for his brilliant teachings, did not wait for adversity to find him. Instead, he sought it out deliberately. He lived for a few days as a poor man, eating simple meals, sleeping on hard floors, and wearing rough clothing. This wasn't because he was practicing asceticism or trying to live in hardship for hardship's sake. No, Seneca did this to teach his mind a crucial truth. Happiness doesn't come from luxury. True happiness comes from inner strength. Seneca once wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?' Through these poverty drills, he stripped away his fear of loss. He was no longer a prisoner to abundance or comfort. Now, you don't have to go to the extremes that Seneca did, but you can still practice voluntary difficulties right in the middle of your daily life. Take a week commuting by bus instead of driving your car. Skip your daily iced milk coffee. Cut your screen time in half for a week. These small, seemingly simple exercises are mental workouts for your willpower, just like an athlete builds physical strength by lifting weights. We too must train our mental muscles. Each time you face a voluntary inconvenience, you expand the boundaries of your resilience. You learn to stand firm when the real storms of life come. No longer will you seek comfort at every turn. Instead, you'll anchor yourself in your ability to adapt to any situation that comes your way. Imagine your mind as a sail. Each voluntary challenge is a gust of wind that tests the strength of your sail. The more you endure, the more steadfast your sail becomes. Picking up where we left off, we've just discussed how stepping into voluntary difficulties helps us build unshakable resilience. Now, let's take a moment to reflect on the power of living fully in the present. This, too, is an essential element in mastering the mind and navigating the challenges of life. When the skies are clear and the sea is calm, anyone can set sail easily, but only those who have faced the headwinds, those who have trained against the storm, can stay intact when the storm finally breaks. Deliberately stepping into difficulty, choosing to row against the current, is exhausting. But in return, you gain a strength so profound that nothing can shake. You dart, and then, when life's inevitable challenges strike, job loss, heartbreak, financial setbacks, you will smile. Why? Because your mind has already experienced deprivation. It has learned to live through days of voluntarily sacrificing comfort. You know, I am used to this. I do not break easily. You've built your inner fortitude, and that makes all the difference. If you're still watching, I want to offer my heartfelt thanks. Your presence and engagement are more than just clicks. They're the seeds of strength that we're planting together in the world. A smile, a courageous act, a wiser decision, all start here with you. And if you're thinking about clicking away right now, don't. Trust me, it would be a huge mistake. The best part of this journey is just ahead. What's coming next could genuinely transform your life. So stay with me. Take a deep breath and get ready to step with me into principle number 6. Living each present moment fully, like a true Stoic warrior. Principle number 6. Live in the present moment. Have you ever found your hands trembling before a presentation? Stayed awake worrying about an unanswered message, or regretted missing an opportunity? If so, you felt the power of a wandering mind, the kind of mind that pulls us into the future with anxiety and drags us into the past with regret. And in both cases, our greatest power is stolen, the ability to live fully in the here and now. Stoic philosophy has long taught that happiness does not lie in what has already passed or what is yet to come. True happiness comes from anchoring ourselves to the present. Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "Confine yourself to the present." That's not just good advice, it's an antidote to insecurity and anxiety. Imagine the mind as a small boat. If that boat constantly rushes forward into the turbulent waves of worry or turns back to the misty past, filled with regrets, it will lose its way. But if the sailor firmly fixes the rudder into the present moment, the boat can navigate through the fiercest of storms, steady and sure. In real life, this lesson becomes vivid. Picture a person standing before a crowded hall, lights shining straight into their eyes. With hundreds of gazers fixed upon them, their heartbeat pounds like war drums. If their mind drifts into fear of failure, imagining being laughed at or judged, their voice will tremble and their movements will falter. But if they pull their focus back to their breath, to each inhale and exhale, and anchor their attention to the words they are speaking, everything else will fade. No past, no future, just a person in the present, engaged fully in their action. And it is in this moment, this very moment, that true ability shines. Not because of magic, but because they have freed themselves from the burden of what cannot be controlled. Fear dissolves when the light of the present moment shines through. This isn't just true in moments of high pressure. Even in more mundane moments, like sipping a glass of iced milk coffee, if your mind is preoccupied with missed KPIs or looming deadlines, you'll miss the sweet flavor of that experience. Life is not happening in distant scenarios. It is happening right here, right now, in the cup of coffee before you, in each silent beat of your heart. So, ask yourself, where is your mind right now? If it is drifting away, gently bring it back, like a sailor patiently adjusting the sail in strong winds. You can always bring your focus back to the present, day by day. Through persistent practice, you will find yourself steadier, clearer, and less easily tossed around by invisible storms. Because ultimately, no one can defeat a person who has learned how to live fully in each and every moment. Principle number 7. Daily Reflection Journal. If the mind is a warrior, then the journal is the mirror in which that warrior sees their wounds, recognizes their scars, and witnesses the light of growth shining upon their face. Every night, before falling asleep, take a few minutes to reflect. What virtues did I live by today? Where did I fall short? And tomorrow, how will I correct myself? Writing is not just about taking notes or recounting events. Writing is the process of carving words into your soul. It's when the scattered experiences of the day are distilled into vivid wisdom. This practice allows you to face yourself honestly, learn from your mistakes, and ensure you're always progressing forward. In the next section, we'll explore how daily reflection can sharpen your mind, offering even deeper insights into how you can master your thoughts and actions. But for now, take a moment and ask yourself, what virtues did I live by today? And what can I do tomorrow to live even more fully in line with those principles? Continuing from where we left off, we've just discussed the power of reflection, the silent discipline of journaling, and how it gradually shapes us into stronger, more grounded individuals. Now, let's delve deeper into a principle that could truly shift your entire perspective on life. The concept of memento mori, remembering that you will die. Mistakes, once open wounds, gradually transform into precious lessons. Just like a blacksmith forging metal, you wield your pen as a hammer. Each line you write is a strike, shaping and sharpening your mind. It doesn't require lengthy reports or essays. Sometimes, all it takes is a single line, a simple acknowledgement, like, "Today, I lost my temper when I could have been patient," or "Today, I chose silence over speaking harsh words." It is these small, honest reflections, repeated day after day, that quietly reshape you into a new version of yourself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, practiced this nightly reflection in his meditations. But he didn't write to boast or seek approval. He wrote to stay awake to the dangers of power, pride, and complacency. He understood that conversing with oneself, examining your own thoughts, and facing your own flaws is the most powerful form of inner discipline. In today's world, amid the endless noise of notifications, deadlines, and social media, taking a moment to sit down, turn off the distractions, and speak honestly to yourself through the page is an act of quiet rebellion. It's a way of pulling yourself out of the rushing river of life and standing firm on solid ground, the rock of your virtues. It is in these moments of silence that true growth happens. Through every page, you will witness something extraordinary, your growth. Not the growth measured by achievements or praise, but the growth that comes from understanding where you were right, where you were wrong, and making a quiet promise to take one small step forward. This inner growth, steady and unassuming, is the most powerful and enduring source of motivation. It's untouchable by any external circumstance. So, tonight, ask yourself, will you spend another 30 minutes scrolling through social media? Or will you invest 10 minutes of your time to write a page of growth for yourself? Every page you write today helps build a mind that nothing can defeat tomorrow. Share in the comments, when do you plan to start your habit of reflective journaling? I'll be reading each one and walking alongside you on this journey of mental training. Principle number 8. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. If today were your last day, how would you live differently? This question is not meant to frighten you, but to awaken a fundamental truth. Life is not infinite. In the fast-paced world we live in, where everything seems urgent yet somehow meaningless, taking a moment to remember death is like pulling the emergency brake on a runaway train. It forces you to stop and reassess everything. The Stoic philosophers have long reminded us of the importance of memento mori, remembering that you will die, not to make us sad or fearful, but to awaken us to the reality that every moment is fleeting. Death is not our enemy. It's our silent teacher walking beside us, reminding us that every passing moment is a piece of our life slipping away. When you truly understand this, everything changes. Every day becomes a gift. Every conversation, every glance, every embrace becomes infinitely more precious. Imagine, instead of scrolling through endless meetings or notifications, your phone screen displays a countdown of your remaining lifetime. Every second that ticks away is one less breath you will ever take. Such an image would make you realize just how much precious time has been stolen from you. By mindless scrolling, by trivial arguments, by chasing goals that were never truly yours. In the first place, with the awareness of death by your side, life suddenly becomes clearer, more focused, and more meaningful. What will you choose to do with the moments you have left? In the next part, we'll explore how embracing this awareness can profoundly shape how we prioritize our time, energy, and relationships, enabling us to live a life that truly matters. Continuing from the previous principle, now, we've just explored how recognizing the finite nature of life reshapes our choices, encourages us to embrace what truly matters, and helps us avoid living in procrastination. Let's dive deeper into how this awareness empowers us to live with more courage and purpose. This awareness of life's fleeting nature reshapes everything. It makes us braver, stronger. When you realize that death is inevitable, hesitation fades away. You no longer hold back from speaking words of love that have been stuck in your chest. You stop delaying the decision to leave that job that drains you. And you no longer waste another minute of your precious life living according to someone else's expectations. Instead, you begin to choose more wisely. You choose the people you want to surround yourself with. You choose the work that fills you with pride, not just a paycheck. You choose habits that nourish your inner self, rather than drifting along with the shallow currents of the crowd. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you while you live, while it is in your power. Be good." This reminder strikes like a hammer against the procrastination within us. There's no longer room for "I'll do it tomorrow." No excuses for spiritual laziness when you truly understand the reality of death. A sense of urgency to live fully arises not out of panic, but out of a deep-seated desire to make the most of each moment. In truth, memento mori isn't a dark, gloomy concept. On the contrary, it opens the door to a richer, more meaningful way of living. When you realize that your time is limited, you stop fearing the small things. You no longer waste energy worrying about a vague and distant future. Anxiety belongs to what is far away. Regret belongs to the past. All you have, all that truly belongs to you, is the present moment where you hold the power to make choices that align with the person you want to become. So, right now, what will you do with the time ticking away? How will you choose to live in the seconds, minutes, and hours that are yours? The answer to that question is yours alone to write. Principle number 9. Virtue is more important than results. In a world where success is often measured by numbers, fame, or medals, the Stoics pose a simpler, deeper question. Have I lived true to my virtues? For the Stoics, success is not about external achievements, but about inner integrity. The only true success is the success of character. To measure every action we use for pillars, wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. You may lose contracts, miss opportunities, or face setbacks, but if you stay grounded, keeping your mind upright and untouched by the lure of rewards or the sting of punishments, you've already triumphed in the way of Stoicism. Imagine a sales representative stepping into a fierce competition, surrounded by colleagues who whisper tricks, exaggerate the benefits of their products, or manipulate emotions to close deals faster. It's tempting to take the easy, quick route, promising instant success. But this representative chooses a different path: honesty. He listens intently to his customers, understanding their needs, and recommends solutions that genuinely serve them. He willingly lets go of quick sales and endures skeptical glances from his colleagues. At first, it seems like he's falling behind, but paradoxically, his unwavering commitment to virtue, his refusal to compromise his integrity for short-term gain builds something far stronger: unshakable trust. This trust doesn't just help him close bigger deals later. It inspires customers to refer him to others voluntarily. When trust is rooted, it grows fruits far more enduring and rewarding than any quick, flashy sales victory ever could. Results, in the end, are like winds on the water. Whether the wind is favorable or against him, the Stoic rower asks only, "Did I row with full awareness and dignity?" What you become someone of integrity, resilience, and clarity will stay with you for life. Victories and failures will eventually be washed away by time. If you aim solely for outcomes, you become a slave to forces beyond your control. But if you aim for virtue, you become the true master of your life. Live to win within yourself, not to chase after fleeting external rewards. So, take a moment to ask yourself, in every small choice today, who am I becoming? As we move forward, let's dive into our final principle, where we'll expand our inner vision even further, connecting ourselves to something greater than just our individual existence. A principle of great power, known as sympathy, or the sacred interconnectedness. Are you ready to expand the borders of your inner world and connect with the vast universe? Let's continue with principle number 10, sympathia. Continuing from the previous principles, we've explored Stoic principles that train the mind and build inner strength. Now, let's dive into another key principle, sympathia, the connection with the universe. Sympathia. The connection with the universe is a reminder that you don't exist alone. You are a part of the vast current of life, like a drop of water. In the immense ocean, when your mind narrows down to personal loss, pain can easily swallow you whole. But when you broaden your perspective and see yourself as part of something greater, your individual struggles shrink down to the size of a speck of dust in the wind. A solitary wave can break apart easily, but if you understand that you are part of the ocean, you'll realize your strength no longer lies only in the individual. When you understand that every person, every event, even every pain, contributes to the grand tapestry of humanity, you no longer fight alone. You stand firm not because you're invincible, but because you've anchored yourself to a greater power. Imagine this. Your life is like a small boat drifting on a vast ocean. If you spend all your energy fighting against every single wave, focusing only on each isolated struggle, you'll soon find yourself exhausted both physically and mentally. But if you learn to observe, to read the currents, to feel the wind, and align yourself with the natural flow of life, you'll discover how to steer, not by force, but through harmony. In that state, even during the fiercest storms, you remain calm and in control. Sympathia is exactly that art, letting go of the narrow lens of the self and realizing you are part of a larger web of life when you open up, connect, and empathize with others. You don't just become stronger, you become clearer. Because life isn't about surviving alone. It's about coexisting, moving forward together, and overcoming life's challenges as one. In everyday life, sympathy quietly appears. When you pause amid overwhelming deadlines to help a stranger pick something up that they've dropped. When you choose to forgive instead of harboring resentment. Understanding that we are all fighting our own battles. When you smile at someone on the street, not for personal gain, but simply because you and they share the same breath of life. So, whenever you feel like falling apart, ask yourself, am I focusing too much on my own pain? Or am I seeing myself as part of the greater universe? Because when you dare to look beyond yourself, personal wounds lose their weight. You are no longer a lonely warrior. You become a branch rooted in the vast forest, nourished by the same living earth. Ultimately, training your mind to be unbreakable isn't just about learning to endure, it's about learning to belong. Belonging to something greater than yourself. And in that invisible connection, you find true freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from despair, freedom from isolation. You discover a quiet, unshakable strength. The mind cannot stay steady without training. And as you've just seen, every Stoic principle is like a workout for the brain. Not to make you numb, but to make you calmly strong. When practiced consistently, you'll notice less anxiety, slower reactions, and a sense of peace that starts from within. No matter how stormy the world outside gets, you don't have to apply all 10 principles at once. Just pick one and stick with it as a daily habit. So, what about you? Among the 10 principles we've just covered, which one hit you the hardest? Which one do you want to start trying today? Share your experience or perspective in the comments. I read every one of them. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to help spread the Stoic mindset to more people. And stay tuned for the next video, where we'll dive deeper into Amor Fati, loving your fate, and how to turn failure into a competitive edge. See you there.